If I win, then Mike has to wear a shirt that says, "My Fighting Irish lost to the world famous Ohio State Buckeyes in the Natty, and I love." I'll fill in the blank and give you a player to put his name on that T-shirt.
Excellent.
If I lose, then I would have to wear a shirt that says, "My Buckeyes lost to Touchdown Jesus and the Mighty Fighting Irish in the Natty, and I love." Mike can pick a pair of his choice for me to put on the T-shirt. Okay,
Don't worry, you'll find out when I get you your shirt and it's in the size that I wear.
You gonna have me in a tank top? You want me to have one of these Zeke tops on?
Listen, you love baby Zeke so much, we'll get you that crop top.
Squad up! Cinco Squad, episode 145. We are about to crown the champions coming soon. We got a lot of playoffs to go for football. Of course, we got the national championship coming for college football. And there's just a lot of more sports going on. So we're going to cover a little bit of everything today. I know y'all might have forgot, but we're not just a football podcast. So we're going to get back to our roots and we're going to take this show a little bit everywhere. Got to kick it off this way, though. Fellas, we got a college football playoff. We got Mike's Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. We got my Ohio State Buckeyes. They will be facing off Monday in the national championship. Mike, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts? Who do you got? What's your score? How's it going to go down?
Well, we all know who I got winning. It's going to be the Fighting Irish from Notre Dame. This is the year I feel this is the most confident I've been about any team that we've had. And I think we're going to, really be able to dig into who we are. I think Marcus Freeman is proving he's the right coach. This is the right team at the right time. These guys grind it out. It's next man up mentality. And they just play tough football. And I love watching them. So I have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish winning 21-17.
21-17. Word on the street is John said he's taking a nap early. What time are you taking a nap? And why are you going to be taking a nap during this game?
Well, this game will probably be a blowout, most likely, just because we all of us said, except Mike, that the left side of that bracket was going to be the winner of Ohio State and Texas. So I have final score: Ohio State 45, Notre Dame 10.
You're freaking crazy. That's nuts. You're crazy. These teams are the top two defenses in the nation. So all this talk in the past few years about you can't win, you can't build a champion on defense. Well, they proved everybody wrong this year. You got the number one and number two overall scoring defenses going up against each other. And there's no way anybody gets past 24 in this game. And you know what? I'm feeling Marcus Freeman and his Irish because I think that his team is ready to rally for him. And I think Ryan Day's team is not rallying around him. They're just trying to make sure they get their NFL contracts because they have to play up to the standard they know they could play at because he fucked with them in that Michigan game and he fucked with them in a lot of other games this year. They didn't get to really show off their true talent and what they can do on the field. So now they're just playing and they balling and they playing loose. But there's a difference. What?
Isn't that where you want to perform the most?
Yes, but there's a difference when
this game against Michigan and the Minnesota game against.
I didn't interrupt you. Chill. There's a difference when when the head coach is the guy from the university itself that has his troops rallying around what he also believed in, which was you pour your heart and soul onto this field for the Irish, and he can talk from the heart when it comes to that. So talk about a freaking halftime speech if they need it. Give me the Irish 20, Ohio State 19. Field goal to win. Walk off. Book it.
Speak from the heart.
And I'm putting my lock in right now under 45.5. Go ahead and make yourself some money. Lock of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Under 45.5 in this game. We're not going to have any points. It's going to be a low-scoring game.
Zeke, are we locking that in? I don't think so, Zeke. I think he's off his rocker there. Ohio State being held that low? No, Zeke. That wouldn't happen, would it? I don't think. No, Zeke. No, Zeke says no. Zeke says absolutely not. Because you know what Marcus Freeman's heart is? Marcus Freeman went to the Ohio State University. That will always be his heart. He with us. So remember that. Don't think he's ready at Notre Dame. God, that's why he's out here entertaining the Bears. If we jumped up and fire Ryan Day tomorrow, that dude would jump on the first fucking train in Columbus because he was us. End of the day, Ohio State's going to hold this down. Jeremiah Smith's going to have a better game than the last game. I told y'all I expected blanketed coverage. I didn't expect to have a big game. I expect a better game this time, though, because I think there'll be a little more of a strategy involved. I think my Ohio State Buckeyes are going to take this game 31-20. Like I said, I think Notre Dame will keep it interesting, but ultimately, we got too many horses. They don't. And the other thing, too, I heard someone here just say, okay, they're looking forward to NFL. That's absolutely false, because the thing about it is most of these guys returned. They wanted to go to NFL. Them guys left last year. Denzel Burks probably lost draft stock coming back. Sawyer could have left last year. JT Tuimoloau. Most of those guys could have left. Everybody has this whole big conception of this Ohio State team and just build off NIL money. It was NIL money for these guys to come back, with the exception of Caleb Downs. When you look at the defense, Caleb Downs was a transfer on defense. Igbenogson, a transfer 2 years ago. Everybody else that starts on that defense started with Ohio State as a freshman and stayed with Ohio State the entire time. These guys are 4 and 5 year starters. Better believe it and better enjoy it while you can, because this is going to be one of the last times that you're going to see an entire defense of guys, for the most part, who all grew up together. With the transfer portal NIL, you're not going to have defense with 4 or 5 guys together. And that's why these guys are going to hold it down. When Jack Sawyer's coming in and he's saying, guys, we're not going pro. We're going to stick this together. So best believe that these guys are going to hold it down. They came back for this moment. These guys could have been in the pro making money. They're not looking forward to the pros. They came back for this shit. Speaking of that, we got to place bets. Word on the street is Mike he's confident over here. And I just don't believe it. I'm supposed to be coming down to Florida soon. So there's going to be a day. We'll all be together. We'll wear certain T-shirts. Loser's going to have to wear a T-shirt. Probably, let's say Super Bowl Sunday, because I'll be there Super Bowl Sunday. So at some point during Super Bowl Sunday, what I would propose, Mike, you can accept, you can change it, whatever. If I win, then Mike has to wear a shirt that says, "My Fighting Irish lost to the world-famous Ohio State Buckeyes in the Natty, and I'll fill in the blank and give you a player to put his name on that T-shirt."
Jack Sawyer.
If I lose, then I would have to wear a shirt, this won't happen though, that says, "My Buckeyes lost to Touchdown Jesus and the Mighty Fighting Irish in the Natty, and I love." Mike can pick a pair of his choice for me to put on the T-shirt. How does that sound?
I accept your bet. I accept your
Now,
challenge.
what size shirt do you wear, Mike? What size shirt are you?
XXL. Don't you see the gun?
Don't
Okay,
worry.
so
You'll find out when I get you your shirt and it's in the size that I wear.
you have me in a tank top? You want me to have one of these Zeke tops on?
Listen, you love baby Zeke so much, we'll get you that crop top.
Yeah, make sure it is a crop top for him. That's even better.
It's going to be hard to fit all those words in a crop
face
top,
on
though.
the side of it. Baby Zeke's face right here in the corner.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Baby Zeke's face on the side. Zeke will be all right. Anyways, though, Mike, you also said you had something on your mind regarding this national championship.
Yes, indeed. So the national championship, obviously, it's been around a long time. So I'm going to take us way back to a very early national championship or a national championship experience. So it was 1918, which is now being dubbed the original pandemic season. You see, back then, troops were coming back from World War I, and they were dealing with a major flu, right? So it came in a wave during like the spring and summer, but the second wave was even worse in the fall when things got cold, a la what happened to us. So around October, November, the mortality rate in the U.S. was at the highest it was all year, and it just happened to threaten the college football season, which forced all the teams to have to play all of their games, even though it was a shorter schedule back then, all of their games in a few weeks. So Pop Warner, famously for the small fry football name, he'd never lost a game as Pittsburgh's head coach, but they played their second game in 3 days, and he got wind that a fix was in on that particular game. You see, one of the agreed linesmen was told that he didn't need to come to the game when they were playing the Cleveland Naval Reserves because all of the officials had been rounded up. Warner urged the official to make the trip, but he didn't end up making the trip. And sure enough, according to the, I believe, Cleveland Gazette, each of the first 3 quarters of that game were shortened by officials because they said the official timekeeper's watch was incorrect. It just so happens that allowed the reserves to end up staging a fourth quarter comeback, and they won 10-9. So again, Pop Warner's first loss at Pittsburgh. Fast forward to the end of the season, and 5 years later, when Warner was finally done coaching Pittsburgh, no national championship had been awarded that year because it was shortened, but he was retroactively given a national championship at Pittsburgh, but he had to share it with a 5-0 Michigan team.
Okay, our guy Pop Warner. Now, let's move on to some big boy talk. NFL playoffs. We're down to our final 8. Unfortunately, Jay, your team went home. Unfortunately for me, my team lost 6 weeks ago. The season had been over. John, somebody has a horse in this race. Mike, your season ended like 2 weeks before mine, and that's it.
Maybe 2 weeks. That's being gracious.
I'm being gracious.
Our season. When was opening kickoff again? That's when our season ended.
When the foot touched ball, that's when it was done.
No, when the foot touched ball in training camp.
Yeah,
in training camp.
When kickers
the first time they
have you seen Hard Knocks?
Go have a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got our first matchup this week, though. We have the Texans, we got the Chiefs, we got C.J. Stroud, we got Pat Mahomes. Jay, who's taking this?
Well, my guy up north thinks that the Texans are taking it, but I think it's going to be a more competitive game than what Vegas has it routed for. I think the Chiefs right now are opening at 9.5. I think that's a lot, given that the Texans are coming in here highly underappreciated for what they've been able to accomplish as still a young group. And this young group has a little chip on their shoulder like the Bengals did a couple of years ago when they came rolling into Arrowhead. Except I don't think they have the same outcome as the Bengals, but they scared the shit out of the Chiefs. I got Chiefs winning in overtime, 26-23.
Oh, in OT. You're putting this really close. You got a lot more confidence to me, though. We got a guy, Patrick, Michael, Jordan Mahomes with fresh 3 weeks off. Nah, there's no way. This is not going to be close. 13 Texans, 27 Chiefs. That's how it's going to go down. The Chiefs have rested Kelsey most of the year. Hollywood Brown, they basically had him on the shelf waiting. He's finally there. Hopkins now starts to the offense. Pacheco's back and healthy. Yeah, Texans, they don't got the horses to run with this. So the Chiefs, like I said, Chiefs win 27, Texans 13. John.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a closer game. Texans proved a lot last week that they can play defensively with any team in this. And this is the defensive team that we've been wanting to see all year from DeMeco Ryans. And honestly, we have seen it all year from DeMeco Ryans. This team has really put in hurt against top teams. Look at the Lions. They gave up 5 interceptions. They picked off Goff 5 times in that game. So this is a defense that can definitely force turnovers, wreak havoc, and give the Chiefs a run for their money. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Chiefs are too well rested. I think the Chiefs can get it done. I don't think it's going to be as big of a blowout as you think. I think it's going to be Chiefs 28, Texans 25.
I was going to say 5. I was going to say that'd be
5.
It's a very
that'd be a hell of a game to have. You got squares and you got 5. And
about to say, what is a blowout to me?
yeah, I was going to say, geez, we need 60 points to call a blowout.
Right.
Mike, is this going to be a blowout or just staying close?
All right. Say it with me, everyone. Until they give me reason to doubt them, I am not picking against the Chiefs. I think the Texans are going to put up a fight. I think it's going to be a good game going into half. But the Chiefs, even when their offense isn't clicking the way it has for various points of this year, they just seem to find a way. So I'm going to have the Chiefs winning this game 24-14.
Okay, so a little 10-point there. Saturday night, we're going to have some fireworks. Well, at least in my opinion, I think we'll have fireworks. We got Jaden Daniels. That young man has been balling. We got the Lions. That has been one of the most consistent teams all year. Ford Field is going to be rocking. For me, I think that game is going to probably have the most fireworks of all the games because you got these two teams and neither one likes to punt. So I have a bold prediction here. I said that there will be at least a minimum of 7 attempted fourth down attempts in that game. Because these are two teams we've seen, man, Campbell say, I don't give a damn if we're on the 10-yard line. I don't give a damn if we're at the 50. I'm going for it. And everything I just seen last week with Washington, they don't care either. They'll just keep going for it. So I truthfully think it's going to come down to some really big plays and whose cojones is the biggest between the two. In this case, when we talk cojones, who do we talk about? We talk about my guy, man, Campbell. We look at Montgomery's coming back. You look at Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I'm going to go with the Lions 38. I'm going to go with the Commanders 32. Mike.
Points.
Yeah, no, I think thinking along the same lines as you. It's just this next man up mentality that Man Campbell has instilled in this team has been incredible to watch, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And they're getting Montgomery back, so their offense should be even better. And again, we talk about the Chiefs being rested. They're rested. Like, they got a chance to heal up some guys that were banged up, and obviously Montgomery coming back from the injury and some guys healing up. So yeah, I think the Lions are going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be as close as you do. I'm going to say the Lions are going to win 30-17.
30-17. John.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions have been the most dominant team in football offensively all year, right? They've put up points that haven't seen since probably Brady's Moss era, where it was like 42 points, 55 points. It's like, holy shit, this team can score. But the one thing that's hurt them all year is they've lost over 20 guys on defense. And will that, come arise in the playoffs? I don't think it will against the Commanders team. I think the Bucs were an inferior team to the Commanders. I think the Commanders were the better team all year. Bucs, obviously, we always said the NFC South, and I'm not just shitting on Jay's team. I'm just being realistic with the team. They've had their ups and downs. They looked like a good team. Then all of a sudden, the next week, they don't. It's like, whose Buccaneers is this? And it's like the Commanders have always been consistent all year. So I think it's going to be a good showdown. I think the moment's going to be a little bit too big for Jaden Daniels. I think the Lions are going to win 35-24.
Jay, we keeping this close? It's going to be low scoring?
Nope. The Lions going to open this up this time. It's the kind of game where you feel like Washington reminds me a lot of the Houston Texans last year, right? They're playing the Browns. The Browns is a sexy team. Same like a Tampa, Tampa looks like they can make a little run here in the playoffs. Maybe they can sneak into the conference finals. Hell no. Jaden takes care of the ball. In fact, there was a crazy stat where he's had 3 games already with 0 turnovers and no punts. And like Brady, Montana, and 2 other great quarterbacks combined only have 2 in their career. Mm-hmm. So obviously the guy knows how to take care of the ball. But what Man Campbell knows how to do is pressure the ball enough where he's going to force a mistake. And if it doesn't come out of his hands, they're going to pop it out of somebody's hands, be it a receiver or a running back. So Tampa kind of showed a lot of strength on their D-line and in goal line situations. I think Detroit's tougher than Tampa when it comes to that. So I could see them kind of doing the same thing to Washington. I got them winning this game 37-10. That would be Detroit 37, Washington 10.
Yeah, that's
okay. So a lot of us got confidence in the Lions there. Sunday, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go to Philly. I'm gonna go to Geno's. Go get me a Philly cheesesteak. I'm gonna keep my feet up. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna watch the Rams play the Eagles. Now, one of us have a vested interest in this game, so I'm gonna let them tell us. How do your birds do, John?
I mean, look, we played well last week on the defensive side of the ball. Them boys are rolling. I mean, they're flying all over the ball. They're swarming anytime someone catches a pass. I mean, yeah, of course, injuries happen, and it's unfortunate to see it for the Packers, but they're flying. They're flying all over the ball, forcing Jordan Love to make mistakes that we haven't seen since Jordan Love's probably first couple games as a quarterback, right? So that's what this team does is they wear. They're not going to come out and just immediately blow the game out, right? It's going to be a wear and tear game, and it's going to be like it was back in LA a few weeks ago. It's going to be consistently just pressuring Stafford. Stafford didn't look good. Let's be honest. The Rams blew out. Who the Rams play on Monday night? The Vikings. Yeah, they didn't look good on offense, though. That's what a lot of people are not looking at. They didn't look good. The offensive line is very weak. They're not getting the ball to Cooper Kupp. Stafford really does, and I agree with what Jay said a few weeks ago. He looks his age right now. He's not moving as nimble. And you got Nolan Smith, who's got all this energy right now. He's 25 years old. He's coming off the line. Then you got Josh Sweat coming off the line. You got Jalen Carter coming off. It's just like it's a lot of nuances coming on for the Eagles. So, yes, I think the offense needs to get it going. I think they need to run some shorter routes for Jalen, get him rolling in the offense, let AJ get his touches, let Devontae get his touches. And then, of course, let's get Saquon's his touches because, we got to call out Saquon. So I'm taking my birds against the Rams, 28-24.
Jay, is your little Cooper Kupp, is he going to make John cry on Sunday?
I don't know if it's Cooper Kupp's going to make it cry. I think it's going to be Dave Shula that makes him cry. I mean, what a defensive plan and scheme they put together to really shut down the Vikings. It's almost like everybody anticipated this because maybe the blueprint was already shown to everybody in that Detroit game in the final game of the year where Sam Darnold proved he's not going to step up in the moment. So if he's not going to step up in the moment, then let's do the most obvious thing. Let's pressure him because he couldn't do it on the not. Well, I didn't say Detroit didn't pressure him. They didn't pressure him as much as the Rams did. And that's not going to work against the Eagles, right? The Eagles' strength is they rely on the running game. So what are they going to do? They're going to make adjustments. How are they going to make those adjustments? I'm not sure. But here's what I know. The Eagles have to. It's not a matter of maybe, or they have to get most of their guys involved in this game, not named Saquon Barkley. Mm-hmm. I think that the Rams are going to go with one game plan, and that's like last time we played him, this guy made us look like absolute fools. He ran all over them all night long. So you know they're changing that scheme. So what are they going to do? They're going to make Jalen win the game. Can he win a playoff game? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure right now if he's in a position where he can quarterback his team to a dub. I'm not doubting that he can. I'm just not sure he can do it against his team. I think the crowd and the atmosphere might be why they get over the edge. When I say over the edge, I mean barely over the edge. But I'm calling the upset. It's 6.5 right now. I'm taking the Rams. Sorry about it, John. I know I had the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I'm going against my own Super Bowl pick here. I got the Rams winning this game 26-21.
Do we need to lock that in?
No, don't lock that one in. that one's off a big whim right here. So
not that confident.
Okay, so I agree with a fair amount of your assessment there, because I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, because I think that the Rams are going to basically try to play keep away. So I think it's going to be a lot of Kyron Williams, a lot of keep them off the field. I think they're going to force Jalen Hurts. I didn't like what Jalen Hurts looked like last week, just to be quite frank and honest. So I think they're going to try to force the game into Jalen Hurts' hands. By them doing that, it's going to make the game a lot closer than it should be. Who has the more talent on the team? The Eagles. The Rams do have a genius over there on the other side. I like the coaching matchup for the Rams. But in this case, I do think talent prevails. I think the Eagles will win. I say Eagles 24, Rams 20. But they're going to keep it tight. It's going to come down to a late Saquon Barkley, like one of these crazy plays where you say, well, all right, it's just Saquon. Nothing you can do with that. All right, dude got hit in the backfield, and he ran 3 dudes over and trucked somebody and then ran for 50. I think it's going to be one of those type of crazy plays that's going to, like, spread the game open late. But I think the Rams are going to give them all they want, and I think it's going to be tough. I definitely would say that.
Honestly, that's why I kept my score as low as I did, because McVay's the best head coach one of the best head coaches in the NFL. I mean, it's no shock to me that they're in the playoffs, because he's the guy. But that's why I kept it close, because he got embarrassed on his home turf. I agree with Jay, where he's gonna throw some schemes out there, and it's gonna force Jalen to stay in the pocket and beat him over the top. And I didn't like how Jalen looked last week, but look, I still have confidence in my boys.
Yeah, with playoffs, it's a different. Once you get to the playoffs, that's where coaches really matter. People lock in different ways. So I think that doesn't mean that coach always wins, but sometimes these coaches find ways to stay in games. Mike, how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I don't think, as good as McVay is, I think he'll throw some great schemes out there. I think the Rams at moments will look good, but I think they're going to get overwhelmed, because unfortunately the one thing that McVay can't do is make the players, be able to play well. Once they're out on the field, there's not a whole lot he can do to control it. So I have the Eagles winning this game 31-10. I just think the defense is going to be too much, based on what we saw from their offensive line and the fact that Stafford, when pressured now, is not the same poised quarterback he was when they won the Super Bowl. I just think that pass rush, and the fact that, yes, you've got Nolan Smith, yes, you've got Josh Sweat, and you have to pay attention to those two, but you've also got Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Zach Bond and this guy and that guy, and the secondary is great. You have, it's just, they're too much. The Eagles are just going to, defensively, they're just going to be too much.
Gotcha. Really quick, roundtable. Everybody, quick response before we actually get to this game, because it's going to be a lot of revisionist history after Sunday night. Josh Allen, Lamar, who's the MVP? Jay. Just the MVP.
Lamar.
John.
Saquon.
I said between those two. Listen.
I know.
And this is why he teaches you to put you in the corner.
It's Josh.
Josh, okay. Mike.
Lamar.
Okay, for me, I got Lamar. I have to ask that quickly because I want this on wax because I know it's going to happen on the internet. There will be a lot of revisionist history. Let one of them come out there and throw 2 or 3 interceptions and lose. Everybody can say, "Oh, that guy never deserved MVP." But the MVP is a regular season award.
Season award, yes.
It's a regular season award.
Bucky.
But we all know we will be on the internet on Sunday night, and one way or the other, there's going to be a lot of revisionist history that people are just going to throw out what they saw for 18 weeks.
Let's be honest. Let's be actually honest. The MVP, it's either Saquon or Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets Derrick Henry rushed for 2,000 yards too.
Or Derrick, you know what? I would accept Derrick Henry.
No, he had 2,000 plus all-purpose yards. He didn't rush for 2,000 this year.
Oh, I thought he rushed for 2,000.
No,
he came this close.
Like 1900,
like 1980 or something.
Joe Burrow deserves that MVP, but we're not.
Yes. I don't care if I don't
make the playoffs. Absolutely not.
Well, how many games would they have actually won
regular season
without him? The regular season.
It's a regular season award. He wasn't even. His team wasn't even good the regular season. So how can I?
His defense wasn't good.
He didn't play. Yeah, his defense. Joe Burrow didn't play defense.
But at the same time, if you're that MVP, you at least elevate the team to make the damn playoffs. Peyton Manning had a shitty defense every
He almost
did. He was averaging 38 a game for like 6 games. The defense gave up 40 a game. What's he supposed to do?
I'm not in the business of giving people MVPs who can't make the playoffs. That's just me personally. Y'all can go ahead and do that. But if your team isn't even in the top 7 teams in the regular season, how the hell can I put you in the playoffs or the MVP race? You got 7 slots, man. It's only 15 teams. Somehow you gotta figure something out.
Finished 8th. He was 8th.
Yeah.
In the middle, that's mid. Ain't nobody smoking
mid. If the defense steps up for one game, they're in the playoffs.
Nah.
If the defense steps up for one game, they are in the playoffs.
And out of the playoffs.
Tell that to Peyton Manning.
And out of the playoffs, would much better run for their money than Denver. The offense might have done something for more than one drive.
Keep saying this. Tell that to Peyton Manning or sorry-ass coach defense that Peyton Manning somehow just kept finding ways to go 12-4.
Well, I'm not saying Joe.
I'm just saying Peyton Manning got the MVP with a shitty-ass defense. Why? Because he made the fucking playoffs. He figured it out.
It's called playing in a real shitty division, too, at the time because there was nobody to compete with the Colts.
The Browns were terrible. He got the Steelers with that terrible Steelers team that fucking scored 10 points a game. That he didn't beat the first time? No.
They beat the Ravens?
Yeah, they beat the Ravens.
Okay, everybody beat the Ravens. I mean, the Steelers beat the Ravens. The Steelers suck too.
No, but I'm saying...
Didn't beat the Ravens last week,
They at least competed against Todd.
No, they didn't. And that's my point. But he didn't beat them both times either. So, see, you're not helping your boy Joe out. But anyways, on to actual playoff teams. Teams that actually matter. Teams that we actually care about. I'm not talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll talk about their asses with the 10th pick in the draft. They sorry asses. Jay, Bills, Ravens. Who do you got?
It's a pick 'em. I mean, of all the games this year where I don't want to pick a winner, it's this one. This game is so evenly matched, I think, not in terms of the talent on both sides of the ball. I think the determination at this point where either team knows this is the year they can give Kansas City their absolute best shot because, of course, Ravens are missing Zay Flowers. The Bills are as healthy as they're ever going to be. So this is their moment for both teams right now. So this is going to be a swing fest, right? And this really kind of feels like that Kansas City-Buffalo game where whoever has the ball last wins. And because it's going to take everything out of that team, the winner of this game probably doesn't end up moving on to the Super Bowl, even though you think the momentum swing goes that way. This game is going to be an emotional game. It's going to be a physical game. It's going to be the kind of game where both teams are going to leave so battered and bruised, you don't know if they can get through the next one. But I got to stay true to one of my Super Bowl picks. So I got the Bills winning this one, 27-24.
Tina will be happy.
With John.
Yes.
How is this happening?
Yes. The Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, man. I don't know. I agree with Jay. I don't really know. Just
point.
Throw a dart.
Let the octopus pick the right ball. Octopus, purple ball or red ball.
I'm going to get that Corgi on Instagram. Actually, I'm going to get Bubba to pick it for me. This is going to be a hard-fought game. I think both teams have a lot of adrenaline going into this game, right? Lamar has a lot to prove. Josh has a lot to prove. James Cook has a lot to prove in himself because everyone's doubting him that, oh, you're just a regular season back. You're not a premier back. You're not this guy, right? So he has a lot to prove. The offensive line for the Bills, there's so much going back and forth. Is it easy to contain Lamar and Derrick Henry? Absolutely not, because Derrick Henry can run through you, around you, and from you, and over you, right? Lamar is just so agile, so it's going to be tough on both sides. I have the Bills winning in a shootout, 35-28, and Josh Allen will have 5 touchdowns. Total, I don't know if it's going to be rushing or 5 throwing, but 5 total touchdowns.
So 5 touchdowns total. Okay.
My math is right.
Mike. Yes. 7 times 5 equals 30.
I had to question myself for a second. I was like, 7 times 5, 35. Okay.
So.
And yes, John actually did graduate from college. As folks on here were wondering. Mike can vouch for him. He was there.
Mm-hmm. I was there.
I
was there when it happened. I was not. You were. I watched you do it. You were there. I saw you.
I wanted to go in debt. That's all. That's my type.
That?
Isn't that our end game?
That's my type.
Isn't that our end game? The old money, Sally Man, so far.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, fuck Justin Herbert because he sponsors
Sally Man.
But anyways,
fuck who?
You heard me fuck Justin Herbert. I saw him with that SoFi commercial. I said, these motherfuckers got my paycheck. So fuck Justin Herbert. If he can't go out here, the least he can do is win. He out here taking all my goddamn money to pay his goddamn commercial fees. Mike.
Yeah.
You're from upstate New York.
I am. I'm from there.
You're taking the Bills, right?
They say no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. No, this is gonna be a good game. I think it is kind of a crapshoot of who to pick. I'm gonna give the score. It's gonna be a closer played game than the score is gonna look like, and I'll explain why. I have the Buffalo Bills winning 27-17.
Ooh, defense.
Now.
That's what I like.
Yes, I do think both defenses are going to step up in this big game, especially because it's probably going to be snowing. The thing is, it's not going to feel. It's going to be one of those games that they're going to win by double digits or win by 10, but it's not going to feel like they won by 10. It's because they'll get like a garbage time like field goal to ice the game. But it's really going to be within they'll be within a touchdown of each other, a touchdown to a field goal of each other throughout the whole game. I think, yes, it's going to be very difficult to contain Lamar and Derrick Henry, but it's going to be very difficult to contain Cook and Allen. And I think the Bills being at home are going to kind of lean into that home field advantage a little bit, and they'll end up being able to cement the game in the fourth quarter. But it's going to be a tough win.
I have to hold on to 17.
Can I say one thing? Can we stop all this bullshit about the cold and bullshit? Like, Baltimore plays in the cold, too. So, I don't want to hear one thing on, oh, it's cold in Buffalo. It's cold in Baltimore. It's cold in the north right now.
Well, snow neutralizes the speed of Lamar and Derrick Henry. So, from that standpoint, the biggest advantage they have
conceivably.
But they played home last week. So, I mean, didn't they?
No, I'm saying if it snows a lot.
Yeah,
he's saying snow.
Baltimore didn't play in the snow. It's not the cold; it's the snow.
Yeah, but I mean, both teams got to play, right? Like, so when they gave it to San Fran, when San Fran came in, both teams got to play on the field. Like, I know you're accustomed to it, but you got to still wear the same cleats, still got to run the ball. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about snow, sleet, rain, cold. You got to play football and man up in the playoffs. So I don't want to hear there's bullshit excuses.
But the weather can also determine whether a team can play to their strength or not.
But honestly, I don't think that affects Derrick Henry. I mean, maybe Lamar a little more, but Derrick Henry's a bruiser regardless. So, if anything, that just says give Derrick Henry the ball.
Derrick Henry beat the Ravens in a snow game.
Yeah, I would actually think Derrick Henry. So at that point, now you're basically saying Derrick Henry versus Josh Allen, who's going to – because at that point, I think it neutralizes James Cook on the other side, but Josh Allen has the advantage over there. But maybe you neutralize Lamar, but on the other end, snow ain't going to neutralize that big behemoth of a man in Derrick Henry. So I think he's going to, at that point, run. For me, though, I think it's going to be close. Of course, I think we all think it's going to be close. If this game isn't close, the NFL is going to be so shitty. Like, Tony Romo's probably going to cry if this game isn't close because everybody's just been banking on, this to be a close game. I do think it'll be close, though. I got the Bills winning 33-27. I don't think it's going to matter about the weather because I think these teams are going to get their points regardless. We've watched certain weeks. We watched the Bills back here against San Francisco in that snow game. And everybody's like, "Oh, take the unders." Next thing we know, man, them dudes just Josh Allen's out here throwing lateral passes, touchdowns himself, all types of shit. So
that was the game where San Francisco looked like they quit on their season, though. Like everybody was just like, "Our season's
as soon as
done."
McCaffrey went out, yeah.
McCaffrey. That's the game where San Francisco season was compete.
Yeah.
It ended. I think where the X factor is, he hasn't came up here, but Khalil Shakir, he is one of these guys who every time they need a play, that dude just happens to be there. So I wouldn't be shocked if he reminds me for Josh Allen is more of what maybe like an Edelman or somebody was for like a Brady.
Yeah,
Every time you need that underneath route, you need that. Okay, it's 3rd and 8. That guy just finds a way to get open, or it's 3rd and 6. He throws a 3-yard route. He finds a way to make some guy miss and extend it. Like I think that dude in a gritty game like this is going to end up being an X factor. Don't get me wrong. Josh is going to do his thing, but I think people are going to look and say, "Oh, who the hell is that guy?" If you haven't been watching Buffalo all year. Like I said, I think you said what, John?
And he can go over the top too. Shakir's fast,
right? And if needed, he can also
on the outside, let him roll.
Yeah, he can also get you to stop and go. So I think that's going to be. I don't know. I think overall, I think from the sounds of it, I think the four of us would say, for the most part, we're going to get some entertaining football this week. Some people say the divisional round is their favorite week. I've heard people say that because now you're down to 8 teams. You got 4 games. You got 4 games. You got 8 teams. You're not too far from the Super Bowl. Two of these teams are going to end up in the Super Bowl. And there was a question phrased earlier in our group chat. When they get to the Super Bowl, you're going to have some AFC team, some NFC team. Every stadium has their own unique thing. So maybe Philly has a certain cheese steak. Maybe, I'm trying to think who else. I mean, I say Buffalo wings of Buffalo. I don't know. Is that what they do there? You tell me.
Yeah, Buffalo sauce. Buffalo wing.
Buffalo sauce. So if let's say we get whatever 2 teams, they have their certain unique things to their stadium. Should the Super Bowl integrate the foods from those teams into the stadium? So if Philly makes it, should you be able to walk up and say, "I want a Philly cheesesteak," even though we're in New Orleans, in that stadium? John, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, like, you want authenticity, right? Of course, you want the authenticity of that city that you're in, but it's also it's not the Saints' time, right? Like, if the Saints were in the Super Bowl, okay, but it's not the Saints' time, for example, right? We want to see authenticity, especially when you come to the game. Like, if you have a Geno steak down in New Orleans and they fly them down there, and I mean, that's definitely worth it. I mean, it's because you're gonna, number one, help that business. And a lot of these businesses that are doing are small businesses inside and around the stadium that it would help. So you put them down there, it's going to help their business because it gives them recognition. It's going to be like, oh, shit, well, it's going to help the city because why? Someone goes there to Super Bowl, they say they're not a fan of either team, try the food, and they'll be like, oh, well, let me go to the city and see what other good foods they have there, right? So it's going to be a domino effect for that city, for the team, for just in generalization of the businesses. So I think you should adopt that because that is the whole reason. They've earned a right. They should have the right for the concessions, not have, beignets and all this other bullshit that New Orleans has. I know that you can get it on Bourbon Street, so walk your ass down there. But at the game, let yourself have authenticity of, like, when the Eagles play, have cheesesteak, I don't even know what else they're famous for in Philadelphia, and that's bad of me because I should know. But they should have a lot more there than just a regular food at the stadium. So I agree. I agree, but I think that should be integrated. It's going to help overall in generalization.
I don't personally think it's necessary because I'll give you multiple reasons why. If you want to put it at the tailgate, fine, because that's outside. And let's keep it a buck here. When you get to the Super Bowl, I know what you're saying, like, hey, he's due for the city. The city ain't in that stadium because most of the people that actually root for the team aren't in there. 50% of that crowd give a fuck about the 2 teams that are in there because they're just there for a ceremony. They're not from the city. They're not of the city. Now, you may get a lot of people that fly in and maybe outside partying the tailgate. So I would say, if anything, maybe you have some food trucks outside or some of the vendors, maybe you get them a discount of putting their food truck outside the tailgate zone. But in the stadium, there's going to be a bunch of corporate dudes who don't care about these, these two teams and all that sort of thing. The other thing too, and I know not to poop the party, but these are businesses. The vendors inside, they have deals. They're not going to give up their spot. So Chick-fil-A, for example, they're in the they're in Atlanta in the Dome. And remember, Chick-fil-A is not even open on Sundays, and they're still in there because they say they can make enough money on the other days they use that dome. These people aren't giving up their slots on Super Bowl Sunday, so a small business will come in. That's just facts. It ain't going to happen. But that's why I say, if anything, let the tailgate have it outside. Maybe instead of charging them $300 or whatever the fuck it is to pull your food truck to the tailgate, you let them come in for free or very minimal charge. So then at that point, they can rep the city, and they'll probably actually get more integrated pool outside because you're actually have more genuine people versus some suit and tie guy who's never going to go down, get greasy, and go get a cheesesteak in Philly or go to Baltimore and go outside and get some of the seafood and get his hands dirty. So, if anything, I would maybe put it outside. Jay.
I like your idea with the food trucks. I think like the food trucks would probably be the way to go with this. And you can be very creative with this. There's a place here called the Crates, not too far away from us, where they set up this little city from containers. And I think that's what you do. I think you can make like a pop-up sort of little entertainment food district sort of thing. And instead of just saying, hey, let's just restrict it to the 2-team Super Bowl, make it a full NFL experience. Like I love the idea when we spoke about it in the group. But I'm like, why not have it all? Why not have the deep dish? Why not have the Philly cheese? Why not have the beignets? Why not have the cherry pies? Why not have all the things that are famous from around every team in the NFL? So you could really have an immense food experience where you could end up pulling up to the game 4, 5, 6 hours before the game. And you could just be hopping around in this Crate City or Tent City, however you want to set it up, and really experience the foods of all the foods you could possibly get. Because here's what's not happening. The average fan will never attend every stadium in the NFL in their lifetime as a fan. It's a great dream, and a lot of people have that. Right? We have that dream here. Wish we could do it as a squad. So instead of them not being able to go to every city, bring the taste of the city to the Super Bowl itself. So whether John's idea is great, where you reach out to, maybe you have a sweepstakes where you say, hey, put your name in, and if you win the sweepstakes, your small business gets to be the one that represents New Orleans or San Francisco or whatever at the Super Bowl, food district. And I think if they run with that idea, that'd be an awesome idea because it'll engage fans more, and it's another reason why people want to go to the Super Bowl. And come on, man. Who doesn't love to get their bellies full right before you go in a game like that? Make yourself feel good. Maybe even set up a little freaking a place with like massage chairs. People take a little nap afterwards. People can be in a little food coma. John would if he was there. I probably would too, because I'd eat everything in sight that didn't have meat on it. So I'll probably eat about 17,000 beignets, to be honest, because I love them. But to me, that would be the best idea, because why not just immerse the fans in the full NFL city experience instead of just the 2 teams?
Yeah, and to that point, when you look at it, to your point with the tailgate, is like you get a celebrity to take a picture of like your small business and be like, hey, look it. And then, like Trey, we went to that one restaurant when I was with you. They had pictures of celebrities everywhere. You put those pictures up.
Yeah.
We're at the Super Bowl every year, so make sure you come check us out. And it's like, it becomes like a household name in that city, even though sometimes maybe people are like, oh, that's not the best or whatever, but it gives that small business an opportunity. Mike, what do you got?
Well, in that business, the one you're talking about, being in barbecue out here, they've been featured now on Netflix, and they're big because they have 7, 8 restaurants, and now they have food trucks to go all around Northeast Ohio with some of the rest of other places. So if, let's say, the Browns are hypothetically made it, that would be an ideal type place that would go outside and serve Polish boys, Cleveland style, and all that sort of thing. Mike, if the Giants ever in your lifetime somehow figure out a way to make it back to the Super Bowl, should they be serving New York style pizzas? Deep dish, that's what the Bears make it. New York style pizza. New York style pizza. Actually, Detroit is very big on deep dish too. So if the Lions make it, maybe them. But should New York style pizza? Should we be serving that whenever the Giants finally figure out how to make it back to the Super Bowl?
Well, because it's the best kind of pizza, you should be serving it anyway. But I was also gonna make it. No, deep dish is awful.
Fucking delicious, bro.
I'll hard pass.
Your food palette and my food palette. Come on now, bro.
I was gonna make a joke about the Giants and like, oh, well, technically, what do you classify as their food? Because they represent New York, but they play in New Jersey. So is it New York food or New Jersey food? But you know what? New Jersey food's pretty much just New York food. Yeah, I think in some way, I think you guys have great ideas. I think in some way it would be important to integrate the culture of the cities and the teams involved. And I do like involving the whole NFL, but maybe give something a little more special to the two teams that made it, the representation of the two teams that made it, because they've earned the right to have that. But yeah, I think it would be awesome because not only, I get it, there's the suit and ties, but there are fans that are going to go there. And sometimes there's fans that either haven't been back to that city in a long time or have never been. I mean, how many times do we hear, oh, I'm a huge X fan? Like, okay, for example, what I'm currently wearing, I'm a Notre Dame fan, right? I've never been to the state of Indiana, let alone South Bend, Indiana. Yet I'm a Notre Dame fan. So to be able to give that experience to fans, especially that maybe haven't been there or haven't been to the stadium in a home stadium in a long time, I think would be super cool. And you get a lot of, these days, you get a lot of international fans coming over, especially if they're business types. So like they never come here. So like, why not give them that experience? So yeah, I think it would be a great way, whether you're doing it in the stadium, at the tailgate, or in its own little village. I think it would be a great way to really give the NFL a little livened up culture when it comes to the Super Bowl.
No, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, especially with the internet, and that would be sweet too because you have so many international people to put that type of spotlight on some of these cities where they're like, oh,
right.
I usually only come here because I want to go to LA, New York, Houston. Now maybe somebody goes to, let's say one of these small, let's say Jacksonville makes it. Oh, I want to go to Jacksonville, Florida. I would have never thought about going there. Since we're here and we're talking about championships, though, we got an important NBA matchup. And just really quick, just predictions. The Cavs are playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just a quick prediction. The Cavs and Thunder are the top two teams in the NBA right now. Could be a possible NBA Finals matchup preview. Also, both teams crazy enough are on pace to win 70 games. That is ridiculous. I mean, it's hard enough to get one team to get 70, let alone two that could possibly do this at the same time. Jay, quick prediction. They're playing tonight. Cavs and Thunder. Who you got?
I think Cavs smell a little bit of revenge here based on what happened last time. See it being a close game. Thunder being set on an absolute tear in the NBA. At some point, all good things must come to an end. And if any team's going to do it, it's going to be Cleveland. So I got Cleveland winning.
Mike, who you got?
Obviously, the two best teams in the NBA, both of them. I mean, it's going to be hard to think that they're both neither of them may make it to 70, but I think they're both going to get a lot of wins this year, and they're going to run away with their conferences in the regular season. I like the depth of OKC. I like the way they're playing, their young energy they have, and though Evan Mobley has been great for me in fantasy, I'm going to take the Thunder in this one.
John, what squad you got?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching both teams this season, and they've been very fun to watch. I mean, the Cavs just seem to have a lot more chemistry. It just seems they're just rolling, and no matter what, if they're down, they're still coming back. Donovan Mitchell's playing at an all-star caliber level, like we saw back in Utah days. I have the Cavs winning this game, but it will be close. I think it's going to come down to like probably last second shot or kind of like a last possession or final minute. Something's going to happen in the final minute that's going to like put the Cavs over the top. How good is it for the city of Cleveland though? Like, I mean, honestly, like just to see them see a team come back, especially because when King James left, everyone's like, oh, this franchise should just fold and go, take their money somewhere else. But it's so cool to see this franchise be like, we don't need LeBron. I love seeing that. Like, we don't need him. We can do this on our own without him. And that's pretty cool to see.
Try to give you a little more of a challenge as opposed to just picking the game straight up. It's a 2.5. Okay, Cleveland's getting 2.5. Is it close enough where you trust taking 2.5? If you could start the game off, Cleveland's winning 2.5-0 at tip-off. Are you taking that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be close, but like many NBA games, I think the Cavs will win this game, but I think it'll be a couple free throws late. So sometimes you'll get a game that's a back and forth. And in the first game, they had, I think, 27 lead changes in the first three quarters. And I'm not saying it's going to be that many lead changes again, but I think it'll be a lot. But I do think you'll make a couple late plays with Mitchell. Not that the Cavs are going to spread out, but it'll be a couple fouls. Maybe the Cavs win by 4 or 5 points. I think they'll prevail. I think ultimately one thing the Cavs have, which most teams don't have against OKC, is the Cavs have bigs. Something else that just came out too is Isaiah Hartenstein is out for the next week at least to be reevaluated. So now you got Mobley and Allen. They're going to get to eat without him being there. So that'd be interesting when Chet's there. Then you have Chet and those two. Most teams don't have these two bigs. They do. And it's interesting because these two teams, yeah, they are both built with, SGA, and you got Mitchell, you got Garland, you got guards. But to watch both of these teams have dominant bigs in the front, and people keep saying we're going away from the bigs. Well, they're showing you, no, you can still use bigs and still win the NBA. And that's what I enjoy about watching both of these teams because they're versatile. You got bigs, you got guards. You got both teams play a lot of defense. People don't play defense in the NBA. Both teams do. So I think if you aren't a basketball fan, tune in. If you aren't a basketball fan, tune in. When people say you don't get regular season games that are good and people want to bitch about the All-Star game, tune in. Trust and believe these two teams are going to put on the show for you.
Damn right.
I don't think anybody's going to get stumped out. But there will be a stumping out. It's coming from me today. Everybody's favorite time. I'm putting back on the map here. Y'all know what time it is. Stump the Squad.
Let's go, baby. You guys know what time it is. It's our favorite time of the show, and that is when we get you guys to play along with us. Remember, before you play along, like, subscribe, and then comment to let us know that you guys suck, because I'm the real champ when it comes to sports trivia. So we're going to ask each other questions, and if you get it right, you get 2 points. That's 2. If you get it wrong, you got to give yourself -2. Be honest about your score. Make sure you let us know how much we suck, or can you live up to the hype? Let's see. This week, we're going up top with John because somehow he squeaked the win last week. So let's see how he does this week.
Okay, so how many teams since 2005 that were seeded 1 or 2 have lost their initial playoff game? How many teams?
We're talking
in the NFL.
Okay, just making sure on the right sport.
9, 10, 11, or 13?
Since what year?
2005.
For the last 20 years.
10.
9, 10, 13, 14, is that what you said?
Yeah.
You said 9, 10, 13, 14?
9, 10, 11, 13.
9, 10, 11, 13.
11.
10.
Copy.
Well, I have successfully stumped the squad. It is 13 teams.
Ooh, wow.
Have lost their initial game as the number 1 or 2 seed.
Wow.
I guess the 2 seeds probably lost more, so.
Well, and that gets tricky too because 05, remember the number 1 and 2s used to both be off the first week, so
yeah,
that's true.
Divisional round would be your first game based on this question.
Yeah, because we didn't really have a wild card per se back in 05. I don't think it was there?
Well, it was a wild card, but the first 2 got a bye. The wild card weekend,
right?
It used to be 6 teams, not 7.
Yeah, it was 3, 4, 5, 6 were the teams playing the first week.
Right.
John, who you got next? Or who you want next?
All right, I'll take it to Mike.
All right. So, of course, national championship question. How many college football playoff national championship games have been decided by single digits? A, 3, B, 4, C, 5, or D, 6?
4.
Yeah, 4.
5.
This week, I have successfully stumped the squad.
3.
It's 3?
3.
The 3?
Yeah,
I know
most
it's 3 or
games
4.
are being blown out.
I believe, in fact, it was the first 3.
Yeah, because there's never been really. I mean, if you look back, a lot of national championship games have been like blowouts
Stank.
or 10-point games.
Stank.
Yeah, as I said, when you said, I was like, no, I'm going low. I knew this was already the question.
And I would be remiss if I did not point out that those close single-digit games came directly after the ass kicking that was Alabama Notre Dame.
Said it.
All right,
I'm not
Jeff.
afraid. Yes. So let's see. I will throw it to Trey Day.
Okay.
Can we keep the stump streak alive?
Huh?
So can you keep the stump the squad streak alive?
Okay. I'm going to shout the Big Ten here.
Of course.
Michigan and Ohio State have won the most Big Ten championships in football. or most Big Ten like football championships. Just
Yeah,
make sure we're not talking volleyball, gymnastics, anything like that. What school has the third most Big Ten championships in football in the Big Ten's history? Penn State, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it's Minnesota.
Wisconsin.
Our streak doesn't continue. Somebody's right here. Today I successfully stumped Grandpa Jay. It is Minnesota.
I remember that show.
They won a bunch like
with
early,
the,
right?
Show that came on like late at night with what's his name?
Stump the Squad or Stump the Swab.
Stump.
What?
Is it Stump the Schwab or was it Best Damn Sports Show? Period.
No, it wasn't a sports show. It was a sports show, but it was like a reality show. Not a reality show, but like a sitcom. I forget what it's called. He was the head coach.
Head coach.
He was the head coach of Minnesota. Forget his name.
Oh,
PJ Foot.
It was like Coach. It was called like Coach.
Coach.
Yeah, it was Craig T. Nelson. Yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah, he was head coach of Minnesota because I always remember those days. That's how I knew Minnesota was actually a good football program at one point or another.
Yeah, he literally played the head coach.
That was like a real based off like real events.
Yeah.
So I used to watch that all the time.
Good very good show. Underrated show that not a lot of people remember.
Yeah.
So all three of you still alive because I'm eliminated.
I'm -2. I'm 0 actually.
I ain't got anything. I don't. Yeah, I've got
0
so far.
No, you would be at -2 because you got 2 wrong.
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
Who are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Like, first of all, who are you talking to?
All right. So what's the score update? You're at -2 or 0? Sorry.
I'm at 0.
And Trey, you at -2?
But I missed 2 questions.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're both at -4. We're at 0.
Yeah,
so
I'm -4.
You're not eliminated yet.
No, it's just John and I have to get it wrong.
I'm at -6. I got all 3 wrong.
Oh,
yes, I
zero.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So Trey needs to get it right, and John and I need to get it wrong.
So I'll have the tiebreak ready if that happens. All right, gentlemen. So we'll stick to the national championship talk.
Of course.
Between both the BCS and CFP, can you tell me what the lowest scoring total points in a national championship game was or is? Is it 14, 15, 17, or 20?
15.
Total points.
That's what I was going to say. All right. Live and die by the one that has it. 17.
17.
I'm supposed to veer, but the answer's 15.
You over 15?
I know the answer's 15.
14, 15, 17, 20, 2 15s, 1 17. Yes, Mikey, unfortunately.
That's okay.
I have stumped you. The answer is 15, which was the Oklahoma, Florida Snooze Fest 13-2 in 2001.
Yeah, I knew it was a 9-6 game. I was like, I remember.
Which means
13-2 game. The Oklahoma Florida State. Florida State got a cheap safety at some point in the game. Yep. Back in 2001.
Which means that our winner this week is, in fact, back-to-back wins.
The Birdman himself.
The Birdman himself. Chris Anderson?
Yes.
All right, so now he's just got to get a lot more tats and a mohawk.
And possibly like a hat that has peacock feathers on it.
Yes. Let's fucking go.
That's it. Yeah, we'd say eagle feathers, but isn't that a felony?
Yeah.
Big felony.
Yep.
I'll find peacock feathers for him. I got them line all over my campus.
Do not touch the eagle.
No, do not touch the
on the side of the road like that.
Go to jail this year. Preferably, let's not go to jail this year unless you catch me outside streaking after my Ohio State Buckeyes win on Monday. Make sure y'all lock in with this. Especially when I go streaking on Monday. I have to.
Please don't. No, please don't.
Cinco Squad Pod 05. That is all our socials. I will be streaking on Monday after my Ohio State Buckeyes win the national championship. There will be a lot of content this week. We got a lot of college football content coming. We got basketball content coming. We have a starting 5 episode coming up pretty soon here. We're going to start getting into more hockey again. It's getting cold outside, and it's going to start getting cold in the ring. So start locking in with us. Like I said, follow our socials, Cinco Squad Pod 05 at all of our socials. Make sure y'all definitely.
I got you.
I mean, what's our number? Is it
Both ties.
about 5?
No.
20?
Nice.
I gotta do math. I'm like John. I forgot what happened to math. As a 5, how much is Cinco? Our Spanish class. But make sure y'all definitely lock in with us. Leave comments, like, comment, subscribe. And we're gonna be doing a lot more appearances to other shows. Mike's gonna actually have an appearance coming up soon. He'll let you know about that on another wrestling podcast. And we'll have a lot more content coming. Cinco Squad out.